Hello and welcome everybody to the Jumpcast. I am here joined with my other host, Max. Feel free to introduce yourself.
Hello.
And this week we already know it's a break from JJK, so we are covering Kagurabachi today. Um, just because we wanted some other series to talk about, and it's usually a lot more fun to go over like a series together instead of like I like the book club, but then sometimes we're just chatting about a book that we like and the others are like, I gotta try it. But this one we can have a little bit more of a thorough discussion. Um, just hit my microphone. One other thing to bring up is that I already said in a community post yesterday, but Max 2 is missing again today. That is because he has a show that he's making right now. Uh, we're within the first minute. I can't swear. Um, uh, it doesn't matter. The show's name Good Fucking Food. Um, and he's just prepping to film that. So he'll be gone for this episode and then maybe next week as well.
We're doing fingers
Also,
crossed, I think.
yeah, we got summer plans going on with that as well. So we wish him the best of luck with that. He showed me the pitch for it and it seemed very fun. And we're also going to link the Instagram post for like the little trailer that he has. So please feel free to go take a look at that. I think that he also has a Kickstarter or some sort of
Yeah, it's
crowdfunding
some sort of
thing going
crowdfunding.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to get the costs down, uh, and just like get all the funds that he needs just for making the show. So if you feel like it, please feel free to donate to that. I
Yeah.
think that it would be fun. So yeah. Anyways, Max, do you want to go into a little explainer on Kagurabachi? You told me that you did some research on it.
Yeah, so I did a little research, put my little notebook with some notes. So, um I Kagurabachi started back in September of 23. So, we're coming up on almost a year of it. And I know, Nick, you and Max had mentioned it when it first came out. I know you guys maybe read the first chapter or two then. I kind of maybe
Hmm.
read a bit of the first chapter. I thought it was an intriguing concept at the time, but I don't know why I didn't get drawn to it. But one of the things I found interesting is the series kind of exploded right away, and a lot because a lot of like the articles I saw said like the first big popularity spike came from memes, which was thought was kind of interesting. So I don't know if people
Yeah,
remember back September and it would be October at the time,
it
the meme of
the
a Chihiro like pulling a sword out. Um,
killing any Shonen Jump character or like I'm the next big Shonen manga. Because like I think at the time he kind of had that um what is it? The chapter didn't even fully come out. It came from leaks. Um
yeah, yeah,
and the what it was that people were hyping this up like it's gonna be the next big shonen, believe me. And like, brother, the chapter hasn't even come out. Shut the fuck up. Um and then it became the meme of because he has like the katana, he looks like my apologies, he looks very generic as like a shonen
yeah.
protagonist. So it's just like the best shonen. Everything has accumulated into this character. He will defeat anyone. There hasn't even been a chapter out yet.
But yeah, no, I
Um,
thought I thought that was very interesting that modern social media and internet culture kind of helped put the series on a pedestal. Like you said, even before it technically came out, but you know, I feel like it's kind of deserving of like the series. So a little more.
mm,
There was one more little thing in history I thought was really interesting. So the author, this is his first actual series. I think he's made 5 other one shots, started dating back from
mm,
21. So he won an
mm,
award. He won a manga award in 2020, I believe is what I said. I didn't write it down. Um,
mm,
but this was his first like actual full series. And something I saw someone point out is his last few series, last few one shots, kind of feel like they're leading up to Kagurabachi. So like one of them is about a like shinobi ninja in the modern world. One of them is
mm,
about sorcerers. One of them is about martial arts. So it kind of felt like he maybe was kind of filtering to see what he
He's
wanted to
drawn
write
towards
about.
that shonen stuff. He's
Yeah.
drawn towards shonen stuff, which is fun because um I don't know. I'm used to like always hearing the story with Gege. Like Gege's great with shonen, but he's like, I want to make basketball series, not this shit.
I want to be the
So
next. Um,
y-
oh, I can't think of his name right now. Oh, the
Takai Ino.
yeah, Inoue. Yes, he wants to be the next
Hmm.
Inoue. Um, but yeah, I don't know about you. I picked up the series almost a month ago. I picked it up honestly on
Hmm.
a whim when I was in Japan. Like I needed something on the metro and the trains and stuff to read, and so I was like, I'll just download the whole series and just read it as I go. And
Hmm.
I got really, I in Japan, I really got into it. Like anytime there was a full page spread, I'd like lean over to my girlfriend and be like, "Look at this! Look how cool this is!" Um, but I really got into it. I'm a total nerd for like I love like swords and samurai and like I guess martial stuff like that, like knights and stuff. So I've always been drawn to stuff like that. So I thought it was
Hmm.
I think it's a very good series, and I think like I know people were saying it could be the next big shonen series. I think it could be a contender for it. I don't know. I hope it could be up there, but I don't know if
It,
it
it
could. I think
it
it.
honestly is
Yeah, I think it
just
seems like what shonen is putting um a lot of their what is it? Another eggs into one
like
basket of.
yeah, like Shueisha really can just like rely on this and then like some of the stuff coming from Shonen Jump Plus. But when it comes to like weekly, this is like the only like real contender because like My Hero is ending in the next couple chapters. JJK is ending soon. And as you heard, if you've listened to our previous episodes, we don't really have high regards for some of the other shonen stuff that's trying to come out right now. Um, so this one definitely stood out like a diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
Um, I think another thing, so what is it? I read up until like chapter 8 and then I just kind of dropped it because I don't know, I drop series a lot. But I picked it back up for this. I think one of the things that also stood out is that it's the first chapter is very good art. I'll get into it more when it comes to the art style, but that was like another thing that just popped out. With this series is like the first full page spread and you just see or like that and then like the one beforehand when he says N10. Then you see that black goldfish and you're like, the fuck? This is crazy.
Yeah,
This is
like
really good art.
the detail is incredible. Like especially that first chapter, especially like the scene of them like smithing swords, like him and his dad, is crazy. Like it's the amount of detail
Yeah,
and the
good use of
fire.
light and
Yeah,
everything.
like
Hmm.
oh, it's so good. And I like something. I mean, we kind of already. Do you want to just hop into like the art style a little bit? Then since we're talking about.
Yeah, what is it? I'll let you go first because I have good and bad, but
Yeah.
I want to hear your opinion first on it.
So one thing and this is something my girlfriend does art stuff, so I ran it by her since I'm not very artistically talented. I'm very I don't know, not don't understand it. So I could be just talking out of my ass here. So like I said, like the art style, if it makes sense, feels like a modern shonen. So it's how I described it is it's similar to like JJK and Bleach, where it's cartoony, but there's that realism, that sense. The characters like still they're like they have that edge of cartooniness you want in a manga, but they feel like a real like the way they're drawn. You can be like that's a real person. There's still like the issue in my opinion where like sometimes there's no nose, and that's I guess
Hmm.
that's maybe the cartoony aspect. But I'm really liking it. The art style of it, like I said, it feels a little like reminds me of JJK and Bleach, but like in a good way. And it's like what we talked about of how like interpretations of shonen. Like this is his interpretation of a shonen's art style, and I mean it flow. I think the art flows, and I mean it
Hmm.
especially comes out when you're reading one of the fights, like the big fight. I mean that you've seen because I believe you said you read up to 21 so
Yeah.
far. So 21, that would encompass after the Chihiro. Is it Soji? So
Sojo,
Sojo.
I think is the name.
The
Cloud
so
Gouger user.
yeah, that fight, and that fight. I don't know if you got the same, like, I don't know, nostalgia, like little brain itch. It felt like reading or watching Demon Slayer. How the enchanted blades like flow on the page, and it creates, like, for the battles, like page to page, the way the fights, especially the enchanted blade fights, are drawn. Um, it makes the chapter flow nicely. I don't know
Hmm.
if you get what I mean, but it's it feels. I guess I suppose about it is it feels nice to read.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and I mean,
Um,
oh, you go, you go.
oh no, it's all good. Yeah, that's like so right now I'm looking at chapter 17, which is like if you want like the epitome of like the best part of this art, it's definitely in this one. Um, I didn't get the nostalgia of the Demon Slayer compared to this because I still feel like the combat is a little bit different. They're both in very good ways. They're just different takes on it. Um, Mainly just because I feel like in Demon Slayer, okay, we can go through like a bunch of like history with this. So in Demon Slayer, when I remember a lot of the fight scenes, especially near the end of the series, like with the Infinity Castle, there's so much detail in the backgrounds. While this one is somewhat lacking, that doesn't mean that it's bad. It's just different. You can akin it to also like Bleach because I know that Bleach does that a lot. Um, but like this is when it's good, and like this is also when the story is really good because it's like um this is now going into like spoiler territory with everything when Chihiro and Sojo are having this conversation about what is the ideology behind the enchanted blades, what is it actually built for, as Chihiro's like arguing that between him about like what his father's intent was for the swords. um, and like it's put together beautifully because it's like them having tea and having this conversation, but in reality, it's like them fighting with these swords. Um, and one of the things I'll point it out, and Max, I don't know if you want to go to it, page 8, in page 9, or not 9, where is it? Page 12 are both really good depictions of the art, just because of the sheer amount of detail and the angles, because they're like they're swinging their blades in the air like like most magic katana fighting badassery you'll see. um and again, it's like using the light. Ooh, what's my best way to put this? It's putting good use of light, like specifically in 8 and 12 when you see the lightning come out of Cloud Gouger. You see how it makes the image a little bit brighter. Um, that stuff is like so fun. That has been like the best part of this series is reading those sorts of things. Um, I feel like I've just been spewing on for a long time. Um, but with that, I'll go into like a few of my gripes. That nose thing that you said, I can kind of agree with it. Mine mainly goes with the character design of Char. Um, because I feel like it looks so different compared to the rest of the series. I don't know if you got this.
Chart, like
Um,
Chihiro, like the main character, or
no, Char is the little girl.
oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, no, I know what
She,
you mean. Yeah,
her character itself is cool. She's integral to the plot, but she looks very weird and out of the art style compared to everything else.
like,
Um,
yeah, she looks like Anya from like Spy Family. If
yeah,
that makes it like it.
but like even more simplistic, like it reminded me a lot of like mid 2000s comic books with like the
Mm,
super big round eyes and everything. And like the lighting just doesn't hit her the same way as it hits the other characters, and that just like it confused my brain, and I'm like, what am I reading? Like this is giving me like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where it's just
mm.
like these are different art styles all meshing differently. Um, that's like my only big gripe. Besides that, I like the character design. Um, this is still like the I don't know the name of the mangaka. It's his first time writing all this stuff, so a lot of it is squares, which is fair. Um, but I want to see him. potentially explore getting out of those squares and rectangles when it comes to the paneling.
And maybe that's
Because like
something once maybe once he hits a year of writing, and he kind of feels, I guess, more at
he'll
home.
adapt.
Yeah, like he'll adapt.
Yeah,
He'll
because
feel more
like
at home
it's
writing.
been it's been within a year. He's still going to keep up the same art style, but like as he evolves, I would love to see that. Like we're so missing like a two-page spread where it's cut in half by one of the katana blades, and it's like we got triangles.
Yeah.
I know that they don't usually do round stuff, but that would be some sick shit. And also, to be fair, I've only read up to chapter 21. There's another literal half of the series that I haven't read, so maybe I
They just
have
had a
it. He
really good
has done it,
one.
and I just have, yeah, and I just haven't seen it yet. So, um, yeah, that um, that's my take on the art.
Yeah. The I yeah. So like, oh jeez, dude, I literally I literally just forgot what I was going to talk about. But the art, I like it. Like
Hmm.
it's still, it's like what we always talk about. It's shonen, but it's someone else's take on it, and that's what I like. It's familiar, but it's also carving its own
Different in its
path.
own
Yeah,
ways.
it's
Yeah.
carving a new path for like this new gen of manga coming out. Um, and it's fun. It's fun to see, new up and coming
Hmm.
people. Like I didn't see how old the mangaka was. I didn't see anything about that personally, but you know,
Yeah.
so it's good, and like the fights are great. I think the characters, like themselves, like how they're written, is really good. Like you said, like uh, Chihiro and Shojo's fight is so like on a like motivation and what would it be, like not theology, but like moral standing
Yeah.
is interesting. Like you said, it's like them having tea, and also but it's them having tea, but it's actually them fighting, and like the conclusion of that
Hmm.
fight is gorgeous, I think.
Yeah.
um
One one of the things that I really like about that, and this is just like how I'm interpreting the scene, is that like when Chihiro's eating the dango, it's like him accepting Sojo's ideology that like they're
mm,
weapons of mass destruction and they're meant for slaughter. And him eating it, like you see that he's uncomfortable, but like at the end, he's just like, you know what? I accept it. I accept that that's your ideology, but that doesn't make it any good. Um, and then you see the sick fucking fight unfold. So,
yeah.
I really like that. I like how he kind of did like a show don't tell at that point. Um,
mm.
so yeah. Also, apparently the mangaka is like he was born in 2000,
Oh, so he's
very
pretty young,
young.
dude. That
Yeah,
makes me think, like, dude, we're similar age to this guy. What are we doing with our lives? We're just talking about a
we're
series.
making money. We're making money.
I know, I'm joking. I just see,
We not working.
um, but yeah, it's nice to see that also. Like these mangaka are younger. They're getting
Hmm.
when they produce the series, it's getting younger, because I think Gege, again, we're going back to JJK like always, but Gege was like, wasn't he like in his 30s, like very late 20s when he wrote JJ, when he first got big with JJK, I
I
think.
think that he's still relatively young. Let me see.
I don't remember
Born
if he.
in 1992,
Right,
so what is
okay.
it? Yeah, they would have been. I'm not very good with math right now. Came out in 2018,
2018, and you said 92?
92, yeah.
92, 2018. He was 26. Okay, so he was
Like mid
similar.
20s.
Yeah, he was 26. Yeah, so mid, starting to go on
His
late 20s.
brain was fully developed before he wrote Gas.
So, but it's great to see that, these mangaka it's good to see that they're getting a chance. They're starting to get chances younger too. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know about the other new series in Shonen coming out, but it's good to see. It's like I said, it's good to see they're getting younger, and it's cool to see that someone so young can. I mean, I don't know if he has. I doubt. Kagurabachi's mangaka has a assistant. He's definitely got at least an editor or two, but that
Yeah,
someone
it's
so young,
standard, but like,
yeah, someone so
yeah,
young can do all of this themselves. Um,
the editor's actuation, like rubbing their hands, like his wrists are fresh.
we got a
Let's
few
let's
years
put him through
before he
the
needs to take
work.
a few months off, like,
Yeah,
um, but oh,
he's prime for the picking.
I just hit my knee on
I'm
my desk.
sorry, that's putting in an evil mentality. I mean, they're there to make money, but I'm sure that they also have
They're
some sense of morality.
I think the editors are also there in a sense to mentor the mangaka.
Yeah.
I believe that's the case with a lot of them.
It depends. I think it's they're there to help them with like sometimes because when you're writing a story and drawing it at the same time, maybe one of those things will flourish more than the other. So the editor is there to like keep it on track. Um, there's a great example of the editor for Naruto. He recommended adding Sasuke to the series, which if you look at I know that you haven't read it or watched it, Max, but he's like a crucial character to the
Yeah,
plot. So
he's like a
like,
second protagonist, right?
yeah, yeah. I think it's what is it,
Yeah.
Deuteragonist? But like that's like they're there to make it so like, hey, you want to write a good series, make sure to implement this. Um,
Hmm.
that also brings into question the Naruto's creators' writing competence, but you know what? We're gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
Can't shit on everyone too much.
But
Um,
yeah, no, it's interesting to see like how much like how many changes come about from like a first draft of a series because you know we don't get to see a lot of the time the first drafts of a series. Like they're usually the mangaka might bury them as much as they can. They might never release it.
yeah,
Like I
they're like
know
super
somewhere on the
rare.
internet you can find Demon Slayer's original draft, and there's pictures of Tanjiro's original character design where he's missing an arm and he's more like a guts type character where he's more serious, more focused, more dark.
Hmm.
But it's cool because like I mean, we always talk about JJK's. I'm looking up at my on my shelf. You can see that first draft of Jujutsu Kaisen in Volume Zero,
Yeah,
and yeah, that's a second draft. It's a but there's still those changes where I mean in the manga version of Volume Zero, there's stuff that's changed, and you could
hmm
think oh it's for the better stuff like that. Of like because I don't remember exactly if they ever said Yuta's technique was copy at the time. It seemed like he just from at least from what I remember when I read it, it seemed like he could just
he
everyone
could
could
copy
yeah
abilities,
everyone could do technically any cursed technique. It just
sorcery.
yeah any
Yeah,
sorcery just depend on your
it's
cursed energy output. So,
hmm
but
in like the different cases, like Gojo was not as strong as he is now.
yeah.
Like Gojo would have just teleported like what?
So it's
One
nice
good
to
old
see
punch.
there's that refinement. The
Hmm.
power system, and maybe that's something I'll get into is the power system of the series. But like the power system, the story, the setting, everything is more refined, and I think it takes time too. Because I mean, even Volume One, um, wasn't didn't feel super refined, and maybe until would be the Goodwill arc.
Oh
Not
yeah.
the power system, but like the series itself didn't feel as refined. There's still those, and I mean that's something I love about the beginning of Jujutsu Kaisen is those really like rough, like very angular looking drawings of the characters and the fight scenes. I love that, but maybe as the series was more refined, Gege was able to create a more smooth character look or something. But
Mhm.
so
The what is it? I always it's always interesting to look back at that, like when I think about JJK, because at the beginning it's like it's such a generic shonen, and
mm-hmm.
then you think like, oh, the extermination center, and like, oh yeah, that's when we that's when everything like shit hits the fan and everything gets set up for like the entirety of the series.
Yeah, no,
Um,
it's cool
so it's fun to
because,
see him like take a spin and change it.
and
Um,
I mean, I can't wait to see with the mangaka of Kagurabachi if whatever he takes is that spin, whatever he takes is his
I
own. I
I'd
mean,
like to argue that he took the spin right at chapter one.
oh well, I mean,
Like,
like, well, if he takes any other spins, if he does anything else
oh
within the
yeah,
next, 5 chapters, that could change the entire, not the entire, but could change a little bit of the series, whether it be for the good, the bad, whatever. But yeah,
yeah.
I do agree with you that like he took to the ground running with that first chapter, and also
The
it's very,
this is one of the most bloody shonens I've ever read.
oh yeah,
There's so much blood that has uh, been poured even in that first chapter, which is very different. You normally do not see a shonen character murder another person.
yeah,
Um, I may not also be used to it because Yuji is always like so refusant of harming another human. But like Chihiro's like, nah, bruh. I see some mafia
I
dudes
see
all in one
red.
little warehouse. They're cutting in half, brother.
But
Um,
it's nice to see like that he took this. I think he did such a good job with the first chapter. He took it. He took the first chapter to the ground and immediately was sprinting. Like he's not, I'm gonna
mhm.
take this easy. That first chapter is so nice. That kind of intro of like you get you don't know exactly what the enchanted blades are, but you get a taste of what they are. You just know that his dad was a famous swordsmith and he did
And this guy's
something
got
to win a
goldfish
war.
floating around him, and then he just fucking cuts people.
And then to immediately go to like after, and you don't really find like too much of like what happened with his dad and stuff in the first chapter.
Hmm.
We just get that cut. He's got this. They're like, I think there's a scene saying, "Hey, dude, you could get rid of that scar. It's pretty pronounced." But he's like, "I need it. It's motivation. It's everyday motivation. I need to keep moving forward." Um,
Hmm.
but like that scene of like when he first uses his enchanted blade in 10 is gorgeous too. Like he he was cooking, like hardcore cooking with this right
Yeah.
away. And I think it's a great hook. Um, like looking back on, like to draw you into the series.
Hmm. Yeah, it's very good. I mean, that's why everyone also like glued to it when it first came out. Um, we're like jumping around everywhere with this, but another thing to point out is that Kagurabachi is like has like the best first month of selling a volume, like a tankobon volume ever. Like when it came to Japan at least. Um, I tried to look up the numbers. It said something around like 67,000 copies sold
Hmm.
for the first volume. And it got to the point that they had to like issue a second reprint almost immediately afterwards because they were flying off the shelf. So uh, people agree with us. They think that this is an interesting series
There
to
was,
keep their eyes
yeah,
on.
there was something like. I mean, I don't know what the process is for deciding when to actually start printing volumes of it, but the series already in Japan has 3 printed volumes out currently.
I think it's every 9 to 10
9 to
chapters.
10. Well, I don't know if it's like it has to hit like a certain amount of views, sales, or whatever
Oh,
to
they
get
they do
that.
it for all of
Oh, okay.
them if they get past 10 because there's some series that got through like 15 chapters and then ended and then they still got uh
Hmm.
volumes
But
produced. There's
they keep getting the volumes after. Seems like
oh
the
yeah, afterwards it's just to keep on doing the work and keep on being popular. Um there was like another series I'm trying to remember. It was the person that made Hell's Paradise.
oh, okay.
Because that one is a very interesting look at the Shonen Jump formula. Because what is it? Yuji Kaku. That's what it is. He made another series, um, Ayashimon. I don't know. Did you ever hear about this?
No, actually.
This was hyped up when it first came out. Ayashimon was a series that also came out in Weekly Shonen Jump, and it was set up as like a guy that read manga as a kid and wanted to be a a shonen protagonist. So he just trained to the point that he was, and then he had to deal with the Yakuza.
Uh huh.
Um, it was like a series that was set up for greatness, like had a really interesting plot, funny characters, and it just kind of fell off and nobody followed it.
Hmm.
So, um, yeah,
Maybe that would be a
uh,
fun one to cover eventually too. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, it's there ain't that many chapters of it as well, so
But
yeah.
I think it's good because I don't know about you. I've been in a rut about checking out like when I say like new shonen series, I mean like it had to have come out a year, maybe 2 years ago. But like, cause like I was like, oh, I love new shonen, and I'm like, oh, dude, like Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen. Like, looking, I'm like, those came out in Jujutsu Kaisen started in 2018. Demon Slayer, I think 2016, if I remember correctly. Like,
Yeah,
they're not they're
2016.
not new.
My Hero came out in
Yeah,
2014.
they're not as new as we think. Like, I think we get in this mindset, especially with like an anime adaptation, that it's new. Like both, what I think Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen started 2020, 2021. I know Jujutsu Kaisen
Demon
started.
Slayer, they both started in 2020, yes.
Yeah. So we both get this mindset that they're like, oh, they're brand new. They're only a few years old. No, they're not. And I mean, I think it's good that we're not just um, only covering Jujutsu Kaisen. I think it's good to like get these other series and give them the spotlight because
Yeah.
like I said, I originally started reading this because I'm like I don't have anything to read. I was reading a bunch of Sakamoto Days, and I was like, oh, I'll check this one out. I heard good things about it, and like I was hooked. Like I remember sitting to the group chat with you and Max, being like, "Yo, have you guys been reading this? Have you seen the news chapter?" And you're like, "No," and I'm like, "Dang it! Like I want someone to talk to this about. Like I need to I need to rant. I need to have an ADHD moment of just being able to like hyper fixate on this and like tell someone about it. So um,
Yeah.
I need that. I was like I need that, and I'm like
Well, you got your lucky chance now. I mean, I'll probably finish
exactly.
the rest of this within like the next 1 or 2 days and then keep up with it. That reminds me, that's probably the other thing that whenever we're on break week, we should probably cover Sakamoto Days. I
Sakamoto.
will read and catch up as well.
That's
I'm now
one.
the one that's lagging behind on
I'm
both.
I'm still pretty far, but I mean Max. I've been talking to Max about it here and there. I'm
Hmm.
only in like I'm only on like chapter 30 something. So I'm very far behind, but I've really been enjoying it.
Yeah,
It's a fun, goofy
especially.
one.
Oh yeah, sorry to interrupt. It's just especially because probably within the next year we won't have Jujutsu Kaisen to talk about,
Yeah.
and I like making this podcast as fun, so we need to think of more stuff to cover.
hmm So, but
Yeah,
I think there was.
existential dread for the podcast right there.
but oh, there we go. Did we talk about the power system? I'm already forgetting.
We did not,
Did no
and I
I
will be honest, it is a little confusing to
okay?
me.
Because I wrote a note. I'm like it's interesting. So I said it's. I guess it could be a gripe with the series. It's new, so it still feels very broad. Like there's that early where the author doesn't know. I mean, we don't have someone saying they're the strongest. We don't have someone. We don't have like someone clearly, like a lot of the time, clearly being better than the other.
Yeah,
It
we
feels
only
like
have like the Kamunabi as like a set of like powerful people, and
yeah,
even then it's vague. It's super vague.
but it's really nice. I like that it's not just one thing. It's not just sorcery. It's not just enchanted blades. It's a mix of both, and I think there's like at least in the series, like very broadly, where like the series is at, like in chapter 40 something, is there's powers that can take on an enchanted blade and
Hmm.
match and even go past an enchanted blade. And I like that. I like that it's not just locked into one thing, so we're not just having, sword fights or martial arts fights, you know,
Hmm.
all the time. And it feels like like again with like it being very broad and not super, I wouldn't say concise, but super like, we know, there's not someone saying, "Oh, you're a grade 1 sorcerer. You're a grade 2 sorcerer." There's not that cuz it felt like during Chihiro and Sojo's fight, they I felt like during that final bit of the fight and most of the fight, I felt like they were pretty evenly matched personally. And
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like cuz
Hmm.
it felt like they really did have to go, beyond their limits, plus ultra whatever to like really
Yeah.
get above that.
Well, they're both in that state of, again, I mean, we already talked about spoilers before. They were already in like a state of the flow where they're both like, oh my God, I figured out a new thing with this sword. I feel like a god right now. Like,
Hmm.
especially with the one of the moments I found was so sick was the fight between the elite Kamunabi force. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And Sojo, where like they thought that they had him on the ropes because they took the sword away, and he's like, "Nah, bitch, it could come back to me. I'm in the flow right now." And
It's
you just see like half of them get blown through with the sword, and like, oh wait.
because like I thought they were gonna be like Chihiro's best friends. Like
Oh
they
yeah,
were gonna
they're totally
basically.
set up to. It's like the whole like Levi squad. Like, hey, look at all these characters with unique designs. Don't you think that they're gonna last a little?
No,
Gets squished.
they
Yeah.
get like packed up in like 2 chapters, which is cool
Hmm.
because I'm like, then at the moment I'm like, Chihiro's strong, but like, dude, he's screwed. Like,
Hmm.
we're not gonna see him fight Shojo for like another 20 chapters, and then they fight like 5 chapters later, and that's the end of the fight. I'm like, I like that. That it doesn't.
Yeah.
There didn't need to be that training arc, and um, it's just so good. And I mean,
It's cool because it has such big payoff. It also made me think about like because sometimes, as I said before, shonen series end early, so it felt like, hey, if the series ended even at this, it would be like such a satisfying series to read. It'd be so worth.
that end, yeah, the ending of the Chihiro Sojo fight would be so good if that
Yeah.
was the end. Like I'd be sad that the series is over, but I would be, like you said, satisfied. That's
Hmm.
I'd feel
But
full. I'd feel like I just had a full like
exactly,
two
I
Michelin
had a
star
good
meal.
meal.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Um.
I, I also like how it's marketed as well with this story where it's always Chihiro versus like the next big enemy. Like if you look at what is it, chapter 42, I like took a glance at it and like the opening page is a colored panel. Or wait, no, that is I think I may be mixing it up. It's chapter 41 where it's like the panel is uh him and then on the other side it's I forgot the name of the guy that has the fire bone thing.
Yeah. I don't remember her name off the top of my head, but
Um, but
oh,
yeah, I think it's cool that the marketing and the story is always set up like, okay, who is his next big opponent? Because his next big opponent usually is actually a really fleshed out character. Like Shoujo himself was a very interesting character. Um, God rest his soul, he was an idiot. Grabbed the stone too hard, blew up.
mhm. Um, have you gotten? Because you saw them fight the Elite Four people, right?
A
I don't
what?
the like the crime family, the Elite Four people.
No.
No, okay. I'm trying to see where you are on. Sorry, I'm
Chapter
just trying.
21 is just like when he first got in connections with that one disowned family member and then met the flame bone dude.
Okay, okay,
Um,
okay, okay.
so I'll
Um,
get there soon.
yeah.
I'll get there soon.
Okay, because there's something I was gonna talk about, but I will wait then. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I like with the power system is like the not just the enchanted blades, but the sorcery. I like that each. So I don't know what to call them technique, but each ability feels unique. Like you have the one
Hmm.
dude that can basically like put two people in a room where they have to fight. You have the
Tree growing guy at the
yeah, the
beginning.
tree growing guy. You've got the guy that can throw like the toys that turn into bombs. The fire bone.
Oh yeah, the
You'll
Dorama.
see a very interesting one coming up. That's very
Hmm.
cool. But it still like feels like a shonen like power system, but it's like we said, it's unique in its own way, and
Hmm.
it makes me very excited to see like what the other enchanted blades do, because like we
Yeah,
have this one like the goldfish is so cool. I mean it's
it's very unique.
yeah, and then you have a lightning sword, and then it makes you very excited to see like what it's not just going to be elemental weapons.
Hmm.
Um, and that's what I'm really excited because like I love Demon Slayer, but um, okay, I don't mean this in a bad way. I would have loved more than just like an elemental like a water breathing, thunder breathing, do. I know there's like the love breathing, the snake breathing, and stuff like an insect, but
Hmm.
like the elemental abilities, like feels a little overdone sometimes. If that does that make sense to you at all? I don't know.
Somewhat.
I
Like
don't know
I
how
don't
to
know.
put into
I
words.
think it really fit Demon
No,
Slayer.
it does, but
Um,
just like sometimes I'm like, really, like I want to see something other than just someone that can wield lightning.
like did you get tired of that in the series?
No, I didn't. Maybe
You
just
just
because.
don't want to see other shonen follow that. Do you want them to avoid doing that?
I dude, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. I feel weird now. I don't know how to put into words, but like, it could also be that like the elemental abilities, like Avatar: Last Airbender. I could be thinking that like Avatar did it so perfectly that I'm like nothing's gonna do better. Everything's just gonna
Hmm.
feel like not as good or something. I don't think I could be thinking that. Maybe I'm just I started talking and now I'm like I don't know how to put it. But I like that it's there's every like I said every ability in Kagurabachi is unique.
Hmm.
And it's not just like similar. And
Yeah.
that's something I love with Jujutsu Kaisen is everyone's ability, especially like now we're so like late in the series. Like when Hikare's domain came out was so I loved the
The
idea,
hype.
the hype around that, the gambling. Like, I thought, we see him get a jackpot every time. Originally, I was like, oh, is he gonna be? I don't think he's gonna get set up. He's actually gonna have to gamble. Like, this is like
Hmm.
really a gamble. But it's interesting to see like what people can do. Um, yeah, I can't talk about more without spoiling what's happening right now in the series. But
Okay. I'll just have to go and read
you'll
more
have
after
to
this.
exactly. I don't know. I think I'm just rambling at this point. I don't know.
That's all good. I think, what is it? Basically, Kagurabachi fun. Please go read. We may talk about this more probably just because it's an ongoing series. Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
that's all I
He
got.
gets the
That's all
jump
I
cast
got.
seal of approval.
Yes, the jump cast seal of approval. We're gonna have to make something like that and
But
not give it to the ghost detective dude, whoever the whatever that Ultimate Exorcist Kiyoshi. That will not get the seal of approval. Um, so yeah. Um, are there any other things that you want to cover?
go read Kagurabachi. Go read new stuff that's coming out in Shonen Jump. Go support these
Hmm.
young mangaka.
Except for
Um,
One Piece.
except for yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I agree with you on that. Don't. I've never read or watched
Read
it.
it once it's over. That's what I'll say.
Boom.
It can be gas, but just wait till it's over. You'll probably have kids by the time that it's over, but you know what?
AI will have taken everyone's jobs by the time it's over.
We're a little bit closer to that. I think that One Piece will still keep going when that
True.
happens.
But yeah, go support Kagurabachi. Go support this. Go support the other Max's show he's making.
Good fucking
It's linked.
food.
It's linked. It'll be linked in the description here. It's linked in a community post. It's linked on our Twitter. Also, I'm me, and I think everyone in the podcast. We're gonna try and be more active on Twitter and making community posts. So go in, like we always talk about. Go
Yes.
interact with us on there. Tell us our
I mean,
opinions on Kagurabachi are complete dog shit.
yeah,
And
and tell
this
us that we're really dumb to make this whole thing. I, any form of discourse is great. I would love it. So yeah, you'll probably see more of that next week. I don't think that we're on break,
I
so we'll be
believe,
back to our
yeah,
regular old shenanigans. Um,
and
so yeah,
praying that we'll have the whole trio back. So
yes, yes, with every fiber of our being. Um, but yeah, I guess what is it? We'll wrap it right here then. So I hope that everyone has a good week. We'll see you next time. Uh, yeah, go have fun.
bye.